but I am also a law lawyer. But you see, first, I want to apologize because to spare translation from French, I shall speak in my very bad English. I must tell you also that I shall be schematic because I prepared a presentation of 12 minutes and now I cut it by half. So I would first, nevertheless, devote 1 second on behalf of International Association of Democratic Lawyers to thank and congratulate WPC for holding this conference, because the aggression against Yugoslavia was the first, heaviest aggression against international law. International law did not exist as a whole of regulation valuable for all nations under universality and equality between big and small nations till 1945, when the UN Charter for the first time provided a real international law. And we must have in mind the wonderful preamble. We, peoples of United Nations, to preserve future generations from the scourge of war, which twice in the space of one human life inflicted to mankind terrible pains, decided to unite our effort. Therefore, our government signed the present Charter. So the Charter abolishes the old global system under which peace depended upon the goodwill of powers who shared their vertical power upon peoples and their wealth through alliance, through wars, through peace treaties, to replace that by concertation between sovereign and equal peoples under mutual respect and peaceful negotiation of their dispute, their state being only the instrument of their popular sovereignty for the management of their domestic masters and their mutual relations. Under this mind, only the Security Council has the possibility, the right to use force, and only if there is a threat for peace or infringement or to the duty of peace, to take needed measures for maintaining or restoring peace. It is why Article 2.4 forbids any state or group of states to use force or threat of force or to make any attempt to the independence of any state, and while Article 2.7 also forbids even, to interfere into matters being of domestic competence of a state. It is obvious that the reality is very different when even violated the Charter, for example in Libya, when the resolution of violated 4 times the UN Charter, when Charter is ignored about Israel, when Charter is ignored when US Navy is in Northwest Pacific. It is because the point is that the Charter gives to the peoples only political power, while economic power took care to preserve their power upon economy through Bretton Woods agreements, creating out of the Charter the international financial institutions which are neither universal, nor equalitarian, nor horizontal, nor in hand of the people. That's why our association held in last May in Paris an international conference urging for a new democratic international economic order. Indeed, when we deal with the aggression of NATO against Yugoslavia, First, it was a crime of aggression, openly violating the Article 2.4 of the Charter, forbidding using of force without Security Council. Indeed, NATO by itself is also a violation of the Charter, by its nature. Charter provides possibility of regional organization, but North Atlantic was never a region, and almost all the member states are not on the ocean shore. Therefore, it is an appropriation by a group of states of a power belonging with the organ of to the organ of the Universality of State, which is the Security Council, what is called collective security. It is also an infringement of the Article 2.4. Even it may not be argued of defense, because Charter does not admit preemptive defense. So NATO is totally illegal. Moreover, I will devote some seconds to recall that all the principles of the Charter are dismissed by the Constitution of NATO. When you see that Article 4 of NATO said that the parties will consult each time, they will not consult Security Council. They will decide only by themselves, the Council of the NATO, without regard to Charter, will consult each time one of them, any one of them, will think that the territorial integrity, the political independence of the security of one of the parties be threatened. It is not the parties saying that I am threatened. No. Anyone say, this one is threatened, so we shall consult, without the will of the concerned country. This is Article 4 of NATO Constitution. But when we see what is this political independence, we must recall that it was in the same time that the US organized under the theory of domestic aggression against Guatemala, to throw away the government of Arbenz, who nationalized United Fruit. Moreover, but we may not forget also that similarly, and it is, I never heard that since yesterday morning, the war against Yugoslavia was under the pretext of Kosovo, but it was because Milosevic denied to sign the agreement of Rambouillet, in which was a secret clause urging that Yugoslavia privatize their economy. We must not forget that. And in the same way, I still hear the interview at a French radio after the war, after all the destruction, of a leader of the multinational of water, Vivendi, enjoying that they had obtained the market of rebuilding the network of drinkable water in Belgrade, explaining that it was a very good market because wages were low, and that they got it because an human rights organization had worked for them. You know, it is why there is no alternative to the power of the people, but the people taking in hand the UN Charter, taking in hand their belonging to them international law. I want to finish, say that all people have a common interest for respect of their security provided by the UN Charter under their respective power. They must use it together. First, to dissolve NATO and use more generally their power provided by the UN Charter to include in the legality of the Charter the economic management of the world. But the problem is that the financial powers have in hand the medias over the world. The peoples can fight if they know. They don't know. I have no time. I had in mind to give you many examples of what is the work of the medias now. I only want to remind that, for example, about international law, while is confiscated by economic powers, instead to be the place where people unite their efforts, on this way, the medias always talk about about Ban Ki-moon, the boss of as is had a boss, as Ban Ki-moon is only the main officer, and only and never UN Charter. It is our struggle. And we must say again, and I refer to our friend of Bolivarian, Alba, if our peoples are together, and it is a reason of conference of this one, if people are united with the international law in their hands, they will not be defeated.